There comes a point towards the end of the summer when your garden starts beginning to change, and it might be happening really slowly. So you might not even begin to see the shift happening unless you're paying really close attention. Now the days are still really warm. The sun is still out and shining, and things are still blooming really beautifully. But if you look really closely, things are starting to change colors. Your annual containers might start looking really, really tired. And also your Instagram feed is starting to get filled with things all about pumpkins and your mums and your ornamental grasses and your ornamental cabbage. Now, I'm not ready for that quite yet, but I do want to make my containers look seasonally appropriate. So today I'm going to work on removing some of my summer annuals and replacing them with something that is not quite fall, but is something that is going to help me transition beautifully into the fall, and I can use it throughout the fall season and even in the winter season. So the first thing that I'm going to do is remove these summer annuals. Now, a couple notes about these summer annuals. There was a few things that I really liked about them, and there was a few things that I think I'm going to do differently for next year. Now, the first thing that I did was I used some lamb's ear in here because lamb's ear in my zone, I have a lot of it. It spreads very, very quickly. And so as I was cutting it back, I had some extra pieces and I thought it might look good to fill in the gaps in the summer container. And I think it did okay. So I might do that again next year because it's really hardy and it's hard to kill. So if you have something where it has some gaps in it, lamb's ear is a great one to fill it with. I did also like the lavender, but once the lavender was done blooming, then it just became a mound. Now the foliage was interesting, but having it as my centerpiece, I should have probably known better because that was only good for when the lavender was blooming. The sweetheart verbena, very, very cute. And I kind of liked how wispy it was. What I did not like is it paired with the petunias that I had also grown from seed because it added a little bit too much wispy texture to it. So I think I was missing something that was a tall centerpiece and something that was a little bit on the shorter side. So just some learnings from next year. So let's get all of this out and then I'll show you what I'm planting back into the containers. Now I'm going to remove the lamb's ear and the lavender. And since those two are perennials in my zone, which is zone 7, northern New Jersey, I'm going to save those and put them out in the landscape. The petunias and the sweetheart verbena are going to go straight into the compost. Now, oftentimes, these root balls have grown together over the course of the season. So this is a great use of your hori-hori, where you have your serrated edge and you can just cut through the root ball and it'll be just fine, and remove it a lot easier. All right. Now you can see how root bound this was at the bottom. Now there was also Dichondra Silver Falls in here, and that I'm actually going to keep. Now because this was so root bound, I'm not going to keep any of the soil. I'm just going to basically just remove the entire thing and replace it with more potting soil with a little bit of compost. Now I've removed everything from both of these pots. I'm going to be planting the lavender and the lamb's ear somewhere out in the landscape, but I'm going to deal with that later. Right now I'm going to focus on getting these pots done. So the first thing that I'm going to do is add a nice layer of about maybe 1 inch or 2 of leaf compost at the bottom of these containers. The reason being is, as you can see, this leaf compost retains a lot of moisture. It is very, very thick, very, very compacted, which means that it retains a lot of moisture. I don't get water to these pots very often. It's not near a water source. It is a bit of a pain to drag the hose, even though it's a hose link hose, all the way over from probably a good 50, 60 feet away over here, making sure that I don't break any of the tree branches or shrubs on my way over to get water to this one. So what I do is I buy myself a little bit of time by adding a nice layer of compost in the bottom. It also helps feed the soil throughout the season. Now, what I'm putting in here are not heavy feeders, so the good thing is, come next spring, I won't really need to add a lot to the soil in order to refresh it. Now for what I am planting. Now everything that I'm planting in here is a perennial. So that means that everything can be transplanted out into the landscape and survive on. Now the good thing to note about this, if you are planning to keep it in these containers throughout the winter, what you want to make sure is that the hardiness of the plant is 2 zones colder than the hardiness that you're in. So for example, I'm in zone 7. So if I want to make sure that these stay, or give it, I should say, not make sure, because anything can always happen, but give this plant the best chance of survival to make it through the winter. If I choose to keep it in the container, I need to make sure that it's a zone, hardiness of zone 5 or lower. That is really the best way to ensure that it's going to survive the winter, and even in that case, things can happen. So the first thing that I'm going to be planting is actually something that is considered a native grass here. It is a blue grama grass. And these gorgeous seed heads, they come out this chartreuse green, and then as they age, they obviously age to this really beautiful brown color. They just so elegantly flutter above everything, almost looking like little birds or butterflies that kind of hover above. So this is going to be my centerpiece. I'm going to plant it further towards the back of the container to ensure that everything around it is going to have enough space. Next, I'm adding this Evergold Japanese sedge. Now, you will find these in the ornamental grass section, but they're actually not a grass, they're a sedge. And the way to tell the difference is, there's an old saying, a sedge has an edge, grass is round. So what that means is, when you follow it all the way down to the base of the plant, it basically has an edge to it, versus grasses where if you follow it down to the base of the plant, it's nice and round. That is literally the only difference between it. I am adding it not only for its gorgeous chartreuse color, but because it adds a lovely overhang over the side of the containers that I think is going to be quite beautiful. You could do it. Okay, there we go. And I think I'm going to put you there. Next, we have Coreopsis Super Star, and your Coreopsis are all such workhorses in the garden. They start flowering in late spring and take you all the way through fall into that first frost. This one has this gorgeous buttercup on the edges of the petals, and this dark, almost like a burgundy or a maroon on the interior of the petals, with a nice bright yellow center. They just keep blooming and going all summer long. Like I said, they're complete workhorses. This is hardy down to zone 5, and this is going to be the only flower that I'm adding to this container for this part of the season. Now that's looking stunning so far, but what's missing is your dark, deep colors that are so prominent in the fall season. Now I originally wanted to put some other sort of dark feathery grass in here, but this part of the garden does not get enough sun for that type of grass. So what I ended up going with is your black mondo grass. Now this one again can be put in the landscape, and I'm literally just going to use it almost like a mulch over the top of it to fill in these edges, because I think it's going to pop really well against these bright yellows and chartreuses. Now what you want to be careful of is sometimes when you're planting perennials, there's always some sort of a weed or something that is hitchhiked over. Those will spread in your garden, so you want to make sure that you are looking for any potential weeds like this one has and pulling them out. There we are. Just gonna let that fill in. Now your fall containers, you can pack in a lot more because the growing season is a lot shorter. So I don't expect these plants to get a lot more, a lot larger, or for the root zone to need a lot more support. It is not like your summer containers where you want to make sure to give everything room. I like to pack both my spring and my fall containers nice and full because the growing season is so much shorter. Now the only thing that's left is to top it off with some potting soil. I am just using regular Coast of Maine potting soil. There we have it. These containers are going to carry me beautifully into the fall. There's a couple things that I can add to them if I want to change them up a little bit, if I get a little bit bored towards the end of September and early October, but still not a pumpkin to be seen, not an ornamental cabbage to be seen, but they still scream like they're ready to transition me into the next season. But if updating your containers is not part of your weekend to-do list this weekend, here are a few other things that you could be doing instead. So if refreshing your containers isn't on your list for this weekend, here are 3 other things you can do now to start getting the garden ready for fall. First, deadhead your roses. If you grow repeat blooming roses, keep removing these spent flowers. We still have plenty of growing season left, and a little maintenance now can help encourage another flush before the season winds down. Second, walk through the garden and make a list of what needs to be moved or divided. Now, you don't have to necessarily do it yet, but just look. Look to see what's become too large for its space, what is disappearing behind another plant, what isn't thriving, and what simply bothers you. Write it down while the garden is still full enough that you can actually see what needs changing. And third, get ahead of those weeds before they go to seed. It's not the most exciting job in the garden, but a few minutes spent removing weeds can prevent a much bigger job next season. And remember, you don't need to do all 3. Just pick one. Spend a little time outside and enjoy what's left of summer. All right, so I'm going to get to putting this lamb's ear and this lavender that I just pulled out of these pots into the landscape. I'm going to finish up my day and my video right here. I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll see you in the garden.